This is news analysis coming to you live on Politics and Business Television Abuja. Good afternoon and many thanks for joining us on the program for today. I'm Fatima Abubakar Oibo. The headlines: Kidnapping wave intensifies as federal government moves to free hostages. Army foils bandit attack, rescues victim in Kogi. Court suspends Obiano's 4 billion naira money laundering trial indefinitely. And on the foreign scene, fresh escalation in Russia-Ukraine war despite US peace plan optimism. Details of the stories and more to come shortly after the break. To stay with us. Welcome back. And now the news in details. Nigeria is grappling with a surge in kidnappings as armed groups continue to target schools, highways, and rural communities. The federal government has confirmed ongoing negotiations aimed at securing the release of hostages, including students and travelers abducted in recent weeks. Officials say the talks are delicate, with security agencies working to balance pressure on criminal networks while ensuring the safe return of victims. The escalation has sparked widespread fear, forcing schools to shut down and disrupting daily life in affected regions. Analysts warn that the crisis underscores the urgent need for stronger security measures and coordinated action across states. The presidency insists it remains committed to ending the scourge, but acknowledged that restoring public confidence will require both immediate rescue efforts and long-term solutions. Meanwhile, the Nigerian army has successfully repelled a bandit attack in Kogi State, rescuing a kidnapped victim in the process. Security officials say troops engaged the armed group during a raid, forcing them to retreat and abandoning their captive. The swift response highlights ongoing military efforts to curb rising insecurity across the region. Authorities confirm the rescued victim is safe and receiving medical attention, while operations continue to track down fleeing bandits. The army has assured residents of its commitment to protecting communities and dismantling criminal hideouts, urging locals to remain vigilant and cooperate with security agencies. In another development, the Federal High Court has ordered an indefinite halt to 4 billion naira money laundering trial involving former Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano. The decision follows legal argument raised by his defense team, prompting the court to suspend proceedings until further notice. The case had drawn significant public attention, with Obiano facing allegations of misappropriating state funds during his tenure. Legal analysts say the indefinite suspension could prolong the high-profile trial, raising questions about accountability and the pace of Nigeria's judicial process. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), which brought the charges, has yet to announce its next steps. For now, the case remains stalled, leaving uncertainty over when or if proceedings will resume. Let's watch news analysis right here on Politics and Business Television Abuja. Still to come. New Nigerian Tax Act introduces tougher penalties for defaulters. Details of this headline and more news content after a quick break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's move on to business matters. The federal government has rolled out a new Nigerian Tax Act with stricter measures to enforce compliance. Under the law, offenses such as failure to register with tax authorities, refusal to file returns, or neglecting to keep proper books of account now attract heavy fines. Businesses that fail to grant access for tax technology deployment could face penalties running into millions of naira, while individuals and companies that evade taxes risk prosecution and jail terms. Officials say the act is designed to strengthen transparency, boost revenue generation, and curb tax evasion nationwide. Analysts note that the tougher sanctions will compel businesses and individuals to adopt better compliance practices as repeated defaults now carry daily fines. The government insists the reforms are critical to closing Nigeria's revenue gap and ensuring fairness in the tax system. Onto the foreign scene, Russia and Ukraine have intensified military strikes with deadly attacks reported on both sides of the front line. The escalation comes even as diplomatic efforts continue, raising fears of further civilian casualties and destruction. Analysts say the renewed violence underscores the fragile state of the conflict, where battlefield realities often overshadow peace initiatives. Despite the surge in hostilities, the United States has expressed cautious optimism, claiming that progress has been made on a proposed peace plan. Washington insists that ongoing talks could lay the groundwork for eventual negotiations, though observers warn that trust between Moscow and Kyiv remains deeply fractured. The contrast between military escalation and diplomatic assurances highlights the complex path towards ending the war. And now for sport news, let's join our Tom.
Good day and welcome to P&B Sports Update. I'm Tom. Let's take you through the biggest sports headlines at this hour. Nigeria has suffered a major setback ahead of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. Young star Benjamin Frederick of Brentford is now expected to miss the tournament after sustaining a knee injury during training with Belgian club Bender on Friday. His absence is a huge blow for the Super Eagles' defensive option heading into December's Continental Showdown. CAF has officially announced the video match officials who will oversee VAR duties at AFCON 2025. The list features top officials from across the continent, including Raoul Ben Braham, Mahmoud Asher, Kimane Brighton, Haitham Guayat, Hamza El Farik, Hossam Zaki Haggag, Abdulaziz Yasser, Ahmed Abdulaziz, Sadu Ali Bahamo, Simisa Dickens, Baba Kassar, Jibril Kamara, Leticia Viana, and Maya Paquita Rivets. CAF says the appointment reflects a push for consistency and improved officiating standards. In the UEFA Champions League, Chelsea produced one of the headline results of the round with a commanding 3-0 victory over Barcelona. It was a crisp, disciplined performance from the Blues, who controlled the game from start to finish and sent a strong message to the rest of Europe. And that's your update from P&B TV Sports. I'm Tom, and bye for now.
Welcome back. Let's move on to the focus of today on Politics and Business Television. Well, Nigeria woke up today to news of the release of schoolgirls abducted from Government Girls Secondary School Maga, a quiet rural community in Kebbi State. Parents are relieved, communities are grateful, but the rest of us, a difficult question remains. Why are schoolgirls still being taken in 2025? And how does a place as small and peaceful as Maga become the latest target in a long list of school abductions? We will also revisit the ongoing security concerns in Kwara State, where fresh waves of kidnappings have continued to terrify families and stretch law enforcement thin. So today we ask, are Nigerians truly safe? Or are we simply adjusting to an era where kidnapping has become normalized? To take us deeper into this, we have with us Comrade Sali Dantata Mahmoud, Director General, Security Salutes Nigeria Initiative. Comrade Salihu, thank you for joining us live in the studio.
Thank you very much, even though you promoted me with the general director.
Yes, that's a promotion. Okay, it's just the director.
It's just director, not yet of the DG.
Okay. I'm so sorry about that.
Thank you so much.
But the abduction took place in Maga, a rural community in Kebbi State, where armed men invaded Government Girls Secondary School, Maga, taking away school children whose only offense was pursuing their education. Their release has brought relief, but it also exposes the frightening reality that no community, big or small, is safe from banditry and abductions. Meanwhile, in Kwara State, new cases of kidnapping, some equally targeting young girls and school children, have heightened fears among residents. Across social media, Nigerians are expressing a mix of relief, frustration, and deep fear. If they can take girls from Maga, they can take anyone from anywhere. That's what one user said on social media. Another user said, and I quote, "Kwara today, Kebbi yesterday, who is next?" Somebody also said, "The country is drifting, our children are not safe." This is not just about one rescue. It is about a pattern, a system, and a nation struggling to keep its citizens safe. Okay, comrade, thank you so much for joining me live. Like I said, and you said I promoted you to the DG. Okay, so that's an oversight on my part. But anyways, you get there.
Thank you.
You get there. Okay, comrade, while we celebrate the release of the Maga Schoolgirls, the big question is, does this rescue solve any real problem? Or does it simply remind us of how repeated and predictable school abductions have become?
You see, it portrays our system as a fire brigade approach system, where you wait until things happen before you now find solution. There are many retired intelligence officers who had advised that we need not to wait until the worst has been done before we take the fight to them. Over time, I can vividly recall in studio of Human Rights Radio, 2018, Politics and Governance 4 to 5. We did advise the government then that measures should be taken. Failure to do that, fleeing insurgents from northeastern states of Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe, as well as bandits from northwestern state of Zamfara and others, could find solace in north central states of Niger, Kwara, and others. And today, from Zamfara, Katsina, it extended to Sokoto, Kebbi, Niger, Kwara, and Kogi. We've been exonerated. You see, security, as they say, is everyone's business. When you go to United States of America, that is a first world country, there are people who are civilian security experts. The State Department takes them serious with honorarium. I want to tell you, these services will come, we give the expertise, the research. It is only when you have link with international mediums or international experts that you see sometimes they appreciate. But here, from the defense authorities to police authorities to State Department of State Services to NIA and others, it is very difficult for you to see that they are even holding in sensitive meeting. I haven't watched some of your submissions extending invitation to you because they feel when you come, you might outshine them, and it doesn't work that way. If it doesn't work that way, how come over time there are civilian lecturers in Nigerian Defense Academy? As far back as 80-something, the lecturers in Defense Academy are both military instructors and civilian lecturers. The same thing goes to Armed Forces Command and Staff College. The same thing extends to Defense College here in Abuja. It's not only military officers, maybe from Army, Navy, Air Force. No, there are also people who are PhD or professors. There are also civilian lecturers. How come civilians are also lecturers in Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS, in Kurujos? So the issue I'm trying to say here is they need to extend to non-kinetic measures. Interacting is not civility of the customers. I gave information of one of the millionaires whom they went and abducted. So these things don't just happen on air. There are RNG ones that some do, but majority of them,
is based on informant's information. For example, if I live in an estate and I have about 3 SUVs, each one is worth 50 million. Maybe I have a mechanic, a carpenter, an electrician, or one mania worker who has certain privileged information. Such kind of people, if they don't have conscience, they give certain information, and that is how some of these kidnap-related activities happen. So like that of Ekiti, when they apprehended the suspects, that was how it happened. Don't also overrule that information, be responsible for kidnap of 5 members of family in Buhari, that 500 level Elori. People should be vigilant at all times. Sometimes you see carelessly, you transact business. Maybe you are a drunkard, you go to one garden. Now from there, when you are living there, they can trail you.
Well, let me go off script a little bit. We've been talking about this RNG kidnapping, and you just made an example that maybe due to some information that people give out, that is how people have been kidnapped. Although those information can be innocent, you understand. But in the case of this school abductions, these are organized crimes. Are we to take this RNG kidnapping and use it for these crimes, these abductions that are being made in about 25 schoolgirls? We are talking about 50 people from a church. How do you put RNG kidnapping to such crimes? How do you relate those crimes together?
You see, when you say RNG kidnapping, the number doesn't matter. It could be 100, it could be 3 or so. RNG.
I'm sorry. What I'm trying to really point at is how possible is it that this RNG kidnapping can work in a mass?
Withdrawn. And now, thank God, the army higher authorities are investigating that allegation. You see, when people have lust for wealth, you can't rule out anything. There is the international aspects. There are certain people who are involved in illegal mining in states like Zamfara, Sokoto, Kebbi, and most of others. It is very possible for them to also divert attentions, equip and give finance for some of these people that perpetrated this kidnap so that they can divert. You see, it's like episode. Apparatus of the state is the one that brings the money to cause the problem, is the one that brings the money to solve the problem. Sometimes it happens in security circles, political circles. For example, if I'm a governor and I want to show relevance, maybe to say that I care for my people, I can arrange, okay, you or non-state actors take this and that bet. You don't know me, I don't know you. They use thought force. When they do that, the sympathy you show, it's just an example I'm giving. It could happen. That is not to say it's realistic. So there are many ways to it. So that is why we need to embrace patriotism in this country and have conscience. You see, it is when you have conscience, you can build integrity, but you can have integrity without having conscience. What the likes of late Tafawa Balewa, Sir Ahmadu Bello, Samuel Ladoke Akintola, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Dennis Osadebe, Obafemi Awolowo, and also of others had was conscience, which built their integrity. But present day political leadership is having integrity, assumed integrity, lacking conscience. No, majority of them don't have conscience. Because we are there to be conscious. At the time the Maga girls were abducted was when National Secretary of APC was involved in housewarming in Oshobo. Go and investigate, go and look at the social media handles.
Many Nigerians believe that beyond bandits, our institutions are failing, sometimes through negligence, sometimes through complicity. What systemic failures stand out to you in the Maga incident and the Kwara cases?
Yes, to the local government area of Kwara State. It borders another local government to Baruten local government to Benin Republic. And towards the other side, it borders Niger State. And towards the other extension to Kebbi. When the Mahmuda terrorists wrote letter to them, it was our ownership involvement that helped us, because I started from voice note. I was not afraid when they got the privileged information from voice note. I appeared in TV stations like Trust Radio, Trust Television, Foreign Water, followed by others, including yours, where the GOC, the governor, went to Emir's Palace in Kayama. They assured, followed by visit of to get in, Center for Women Development, also of other things. Let them read better courses up to university. Then private sector, people like Dangote is a northerner. People like Bua, all northern members of the diplomatic community, because the trauma is not easy. Within the days they spend there, we don't know what happened to them.
Okay, finally, in 1 minute before we go, what immediate security reforms can protect rural communities like Maga and states like Kwara so that school abductions stop becoming a recurring national nightmare?
Let there be establishment of permanent security structures. That is the offices of agencies of the security. Then community policing should also